What's up, guys? It's Vic. In this video I want to kind of stray away from web development and talk about mental health, because that's a really important topic that I want to get around to and want to talk about more and more throughout my YouTube channel. I study a lot of mental health. I do a lot of self-analysis, self-development, and stuff like that, and I teach a lot of people with their self-development, or like I teach people how to meditate and things like that. And mental health is really important. A lot of people don't really put their attention towards it. They focus on what's going on in their life, and they don't really look into themselves and see how they're doing themselves, which is pretty important because you're the most important person in your life. That's in any situation. So I want to talk about mental health and hopefully teach you guys a couple things you can use and reasons why you should study mental health. And I'll keep this going throughout my YouTube channel. Just throughout my YouTube channel, I'll be posting more videos directed towards mental health. So these past couple days, I've been on my Instagram posting on my stories, asking people and doing polls about self-awareness, how self-aware you are. And are you really self-aware? Do you know who you are? Do you know your interests? Do you know what you think about? Do you know your personality type? Are you connected to your emotions? Do you listen to your heart more than your brain? Are you healthy? Do you know where you can improve? Many different questions you can ask yourself, and a lot of people don't ever really come to think of those things throughout their day. They just live their day and on to the next one, going along with what's going on. And it's really good to take an audit of yourself. One of the most important things I did in my life was audit myself. There was a point where things weren't going too great, and I was kind of just living my life. However, it was getting handed to me, I was getting through it. I wasn't really studying myself and seeing how I was getting through everything. It wasn't until I had a mentor, his name was Chives, in Atlanta, and he kind of explained to me how to audit yourself and how to look into yourself and really self-analyze how you're doing mentally and a bunch of other stuff. So I want to talk about the difference between self-awareness and self-care. A lot of people seem to confuse the two for some reason, especially women. I don't want to be sexist or anything like that, but I've realized throughout observation where a lot of women will see self-care as I'm being self-aware, but self-care is basically I'm feeling bad, so I'm gonna do this for myself to feel better. Right? You're not really considering what your deep down subliminal thoughts are, or your thoughts, or your like regular thoughts. You're just finding a way to reward yourself for getting through different things, which is a good thing. That's positive reinforcement. But self-awareness is basically when you ask yourself questions to try to get an answer. So questions like, what's your personality type? Are you emotionally stable? Have you been happy these past weeks? Have you been depressed these past weeks? Are you an extrovert, introvert? I think I already said that. Many different things you can ask yourself, and these questions are questions where you can basically be your own therapist. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think, oh, I need a therapist. The only way I can get help is if I get a therapist. But really, the answers are all basically on the internet. Right? You can continue watching these videos, and I'll be explaining more in depth towards self-development and mental health. But right now, if you need help, you can go on the internet and look up any questions you have. That's what I did when I first got started, and I became very wise in mental health and self-development. I listened to a lot of lectures, I had mentors, and these are all things just that came after I learned more and more about it. But the answers are all on the internet, guys. Don't be afraid to look into yourself, because it's really important to be healthy in the mind, because basically what you think is what you become, right? If you think negative thoughts, negative things are going to happen, or you're going to take negative actions. If you think positive thoughts, then vice versa. Now, a lot of people think negative thoughts throughout the day. It's a self-defense mechanism that a lot of people just live by. They have a bad experience, so that just runs through their head all day, and they don't really realize that it's running through their head all day. They're just going along with the narrative, right? So let's say you're driving on the street and you get into a fender bender. You start getting a little annoyed that happened. You get mad, and in your head, the little voice in your head is talking all the time, like, dang, I should have never hit that guy, or that was all his fault, or all this other stuff. And you don't realize that you're thinking about it, but in your head it's happening, and you're just going along with the narrative. And those voices stay in your head. Those negative thoughts, they stay in your head. They don't really go away until you realize that it's happening, and you accept what happened, and basically you forgive yourself for having those thoughts. That's the only way you basically move on. But until you do that, those voices are in your head all day, every day. Now think of all the negative people in your life that say or have said negative things to you, say negative things to you, and this and the other. Those voices don't simply leave; they stay in your head, talking all the time. And the only way you can get rid of those, or be able to organize yourself where you can set those aside and focus on the positive ones, is if you take an audit of yourself and you look into yourself and realize what's going on in your head. Who are the voices talking? Is it me? Or is it my ego? Or is it the other voices in your head that keep repeating themselves? So it's really important to audit yourself and really look into yourself and realize what's going on in your head. Something that's really important that I want to touch upon, I'll get into it in another video because it's a very deep conversation, but one of the things you have to understand is your thoughts are not who you are. That those voices in your head are not who you truly are. Basically, those thoughts are your ego. Your ego is basically your brain. Your brain is supposed to be used as a tool to determine and estimate different measurements, or if there's an event going on, you can figure out how to schedule and how to do this and that. But your brain is used basically to measure. Who you really are is your feelings. That it's basically your spirit. That inner feeling and that gut feeling you get inside is your inner you trying to tell you you should do something, or you should never do something. And your mind kind of analyzes what you should do and decides for you. Now, think of the voices. If you have a lot of negative voices speaking in your head, for example, if you have a voice that keeps telling you, oh, you can't do it, you're not going to be able to do this, that's your ego telling you because of past experiences or your assumptions of the future that you're not going to be able to do this. But your spirit, your inner self lives in the present moment. Your inner self knows what you should and should do right now. Your thoughts are supposed to measure that, and when you live more towards your inner self, you take more action. And with those actions, you use your mind to decide which ones are the best, like which actions you should take. But your inner self wants you to take action right now, to live in the present moment. And that's one of the most important things in life, living in the present moment. Live in the present moment, focus on a better future, and learn from the past. Don't let the past hinder you. A lot of people live in the past. You'll be surprised how many people live in the past and how many people live in the future and they don't live in the present. So that's a very important thing I want to touch up on. I'll get into that in another episode, but living in the present moment is very important. So those are just a couple topics I wanted to touch up on. I'll probably make another video next week describing another mental health topic. Maybe I'll get into living in the present moment, which is super important for things like happiness and mental health. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching. I hope you gained any type of knowledge from this video. I just wanted to help you guys out. I've been on Instagram, and a lot of people answer with the polls on the Instagram stories that they have a bad time with mental health. So I hope this kind of helps out. If you have any comments or anything, any feedback, please drop it in the comments below. If you want to get in contact with me, say it in the comments, and I'll be glad to help out with anything. And if you want to improve your mental health, if your mental health is already good and you want to make it better, contact me too, because I can help out with that as well. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you got content from this, and see you in the next one.